don't know what the hell is going on with Real Madrid lately, but the boys need to fix up. Because even though we've just suffered a historically embarrassing, awful loss to Valencia over the weekend at home, we already have to look ahead because the Champions League quarterfinals are upon us. And on Tuesday at the Emirates, Real Madrid will be taking on Arsenal. And you guys already know what I'm about to say. This is a must-win game. It's the business end of the season. It's win or go home. It is do or die. And these games are coming as fast as my Amazon Prime packages. But nonetheless, I'm very excited for this matchup. Everybody knows that I'm a Real Madrid fan, but there's only one other club in the world that I care about, and that's Arsenal. I usually want to see them do well, but not against us. They got to hold smoke. We got to go to the Emirates, and we absolutely have to put belt to ass. But you guys already know what we do on these match previews. We're going to talk about both teams. Then towards the end, I'm going to build my predicted starting 11 for Real Madrid. And then I'll also do a combined starting 11 based off the players who are available because it's a big occasion. And that could be something that we can definitely debate about. So make sure that you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, and let me know what you're saying for this match. I've never seen us play against Arsenal before. So I know that this game is going to have so much hype heading into these two matchups. But let's just get straight into it. Now, let's talk about Real Madrid, right? Because we're sitting second in La Liga. We are Hospital FC. Arsenal are Injury FC, okay? And this game is going to be super interesting because if you look at how we have been playing lately, it's not been good. Even in the games that we've been able to pick up points, we've been playing pretty mediocre. I mean, this entire season, we've been shit. Like, let's just be honest here. We've been getting battered by Barca. We're playing haram ball. My manager has no tactics, no adjustments. It's just eyebrow raises, individual brilliance, and the power of friendship. That's what's been carrying us for the entirety of this season. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, we suffered a very embarrassing loss to Valencia, a team in the bottom half of the table, rocked up at our ground and beat us. We have been very lucky. The La Liga title race, I'm going to be real, in my opinion, it's over. I'm checked out. I do believe that Barcelona have about a 90% chance of winning the league. It would take a historical kind of collapse. But the reason why I'm showing you the league table is because this is our bread and butter, right? This is where a majority of the season is played. And I think that even though we know that the Champions League hits different, right? The UCL, we know in this competition we activate. But that doesn't mean that we should be ignoring the poor performances that we have been seeing for the last 8 months. Now, just looking at our form in general, right? We just lost against Valencia. In the second leg of the Copa del Rey, yes, we beat Real Sociedad on aggregate, but we let a Sociedad team who got knocked out of the Europa League by Manchester United. We let these bums come to our ground and score 4 goals. We let these guys come to the Bernabeu and force an extra time. It took a Rudiger last-minute header, basically, for us to go through without having to go to penalties. You know how embarrassing that is? The game before that, we played Leganes at home. 3-2 win against a team that's sitting in the bottom 3, a relegation side. The game before that, a 2-1 shaky win over Villarreal right before the international break. I'm going to be real. This is the best time to play Real Madrid. A lot of people think that we're going to just dominate Arsenal over these two legs. A lot of people think that the aggregate's going to be something like 6-2, 5-1. I'm even hearing like a 7-3 or some craziness like that. Brother, if you've not been watching Real Madrid this season, then I think that your expectations for us are very high. Now, look, I do expect us to win. I expect us to be in the semifinals of this competition, but it's not going to be as easy as everyone is trying to make it out to be. So I want to know what you guys are saying about Real Madrid's form. How do you think that we have been playing for a majority of this season? I don't think anybody's going to get in this comment section and disagree with the things that I'm saying. It's literally been shit. But again, the expectations are that we go through. The pressure is on us because the La Liga title looks like it's slipping away. So we're going to have to start putting some more focus, some more emphasis on these other competitions. Copa del Rey final that's coming up in a few weeks. The UCL that we usually do pretty well in. We have to advance. But let me know what you're saying about Real Madrid's form. Now, let's look at Arsenal, right? Let's talk about them for a second, because just like how we're second in our domestic league, Arsenal are once again sitting second in the Premier League. Now, I feel like Arsenal have been second for at least the last 3 seasons now. I mean, there's so much pressure on them, right? We all know that a large amount of the fans want Arteta out, while another part of the fan section want Arteta in. And Arsenal have already bottled every other trophy that there was to play for, right? Now, this Premier League title race that you're seeing is over, right? Like Liverpool, unless they suffer a historical kind of collapse in these last few games, it's over. So realistically, the UCL is the only trophy that is available for Arsenal to win. So they're going to be up for it. We know how delusional their fans are, right? We know that Arsenal are a team that they don't really play the best football underneath Arteta. Strong back line, strong midfield. They're definitely, I think, going to try and stink their way through these 2 games. Now, looking at the form that they've been on, right? They did draw against Everton 1-1 over the weekend. They also just beat Fulham 2-1. Then they had a 1-0 win over Chelsea a few weeks ago, right? I'm seeing that they drew in the second leg against PSV, but to be fair to them, they did beat PSV 7-1 in that first leg. So, it is what it is, right? Also a 1-1 draw with Manchester United. And I think the consensus for a lot of Arsenal fans is that they haven't been playing the best football, right? Like, I watch Arsenal content and I see a lot of these guys complain about how boring it is during most of their matches. And that's very similar to us, where our games are boring because of how shit we look. But they haven't suffered a loss since their game against West Ham. And that's back in February. So, I mean, look, they're on a decent run here in terms of no losses. Again, their performances haven't really been the best, but I want to know what you guys are saying about Arsenal's form. Now, looking at what should be their expected starting 11 with all of, the things that are going on, right? I also think that before we even get into that, we should be looking at Arsenal's injuries, because as I alluded to earlier, right? Just like how we're suffering with missing players, Arsenal are as well, right? Like, look at this injury report. Gabriel Magalhaes got injured last week. He's out for the season, hamstring injury. Calafiori, knee injury. They're saying that he won't be available. Kai Havertz, done for the season. Gabriel Jesus, who knows when he's going to come back. Tomiyasu, who knows when he'll be back. And then Raheem Sterling, I believe, is suspended for this game. Now, with this in mind, right, let's look at their expected starting 11. So we know that Arsenal like to run the 4-3-3, and I think that it'll be David Raya in goal. I think Ben White will be at right back. Saliba and Jorian Timber, I think, will be the two center backs because obviously, right, Gabriel Magalhaes is no longer fit. So I think Timber is the best option to pair next to Saliba. Now, at left back, we're going to go with Miles Lewis-Skelly, who I think has cemented his spot in that starting 11. Then in the midfield, right? I think Declan Rice in the left 8. Thomas Partey has more of that DM kind of role. And then Martin Odegaard in the other 8 spot. Now, Bukayo Saka, he's returned from his injury, and I think he'll start. I'll be very surprised if Saka is not in the starting 11 for this game. And then Martinelli, I think, will be on the left. And then, I mean, because they don't have a striker, right? Gabriel Jesus injured. Kai Havertz injured. We see Mikel Merino has been running in the 9. So, I mean, look, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. But this is what I expect Arsenal to do. Let me know if you agree with this or not. And talk to me about Arsenal's chances in this quarterfinal matchup. Now, let's get back to Madrid because we do have to speak about some updates and some players that may not be available for this game. Now, a big loss that we might be feeling during this first leg is Tchouaméni. He's not available for this game. He has been suspended, right? He picked up a yellow card against Atleti, so he will have to miss this first leg, but he will be back for the second, right? And also, Camavinga and Luka Modric, they are a yellow card away from missing the second leg. So we do have to keep that in mind. Now, looking at just some other injury updates, we know that Dani Ceballos, who has been very crucial for us before his injury, right? He's returned to team training, but he's not going to be available for this match against Arsenal, right? I think that they're going to try and bring him back for the second leg, but for this first leg, it's come too soon. No Dani Ceballos, and also Ferland Mendy, who suffered an injury, right? It was being reported that he may be available for the first leg against Arsenal. He is out as well. Now, to speak about some positive news, we know that over the weekend, we had the kid from our academy, Fran Gonzalez, as our goalkeeper. And even though I think he had a decent debut, we know that, look, it's the Champions League. And to put him in that kind of position would have been crazy. Now, Lunin is injured, and he is out for this Arsenal matchup. But the best goalkeeper in the world, Thibaut Courtois, is back. He is in the match squad, and he will be in goal for this Arsenal game. That's going to be a very big boost for us. So Courtois is back, people. Now, just to look at, again, the players who are injured, right? We talked about Mendy. We talked about Dani Carvajal. But, right, Eder Militao, obviously, ACL injury. He's done for the season. Not going to be there. We already talked about Tchouaméni. And Dani Carvajal, right? He is injured as well, ACL. So we'll see him next season. So, yeah, those are the quick updates that I do have for us just concerning who's available and who is not. Now, getting into my favorite part of every single match preview, that is predicting the starting 11 that I think Real Madrid will put out there. Now, we're going to be in the 4-2-3-1, in my opinion. Maybe a 4-4-2, but I think it'll be this, right? This is what we've been seeing for majority of the season. Now, let's build this out. So, in goal, right, we're going to have to go Courtois. Hopefully, he's match fit, but, you know, I have no problems worrying about what Courtois will do. He usually has big performances for us when needed. I think at right back for this game, it's not going to be Vasquez. It's got to be Valverde, right? We know Lucas Vasquez is a massive liability, and Valverde is our best option at right back that we have available, right? We saw him put in some good performances at right back in this season against Man City, against Atleti, and in the big games, this is where he needs to be starting. Now, as the center back duo, right, Asensio needs to return to the 11. He didn't start against Valencia, and we lost, right? Every time that Raul Asensio has not been in the 11, we've suffered a loss, right? All of our 4 losses in these competitions that we've seen have been when Asensio's been on the bench. He needs to be starting this game. I think he's been our best center back this season, just based off of form. He's been phenomenal. He's only had maybe 2 shaky, bad games for us, but in the big matchups, against Man City, against Atletico Madrid, right? Against Liverpool. He's performed well. So he needs to start. I think next to him, it'll be Rudiger. Then at left back, I believe that it will be Fran Garcia with Mendy not being fit for this game. Now, in the midfield, right, because Valverde's at right back, I think that Camavinga is going to have to start this game. And even though I love Camavinga and I think that he's a baller, I think that Camavinga's potential is crazy. This guy has been shit this season. Like, if he's not injured, then he's dropping a bad performance. So I'm going to need Camavinga to turn these performances around because he's cost us quite a few times this season with mistakes that have led to goals, with putting us in very bad situations. I need Camavinga to turn it around. And I think next to him, Luka Modric will be in that midfield. Now, I have confidence in this pivot, but I need Camavinga to fix up. Now, in the 10, we're going to go Jude, of course, right? The best or one of the best midfielders in the world. I think him and Valverde are two of the most complete midfielders in world football. I expect Jude to have a big game. And then on the right, Rodrigo, Mr. Champions League himself, Mr. Big Game. And then on the left, Vinicius. And then in the 9, Mbappe. This is how I fully expect Carlo Ancelotti to line up. So let me know what you guys are saying about my predicted starting 11 for Real Madrid. I just think that this gives us the most balance. And I just think that, look, the midfield battle is going to be super important. And again, all eyes are going to be on Camavinga. There's been so much speculation with his future and whether he's going to leave, right? I know that Man City are looking at him. I know that, he's been dealing with injuries. Again, he's had a down season. He's not really been able to establish himself as a starter like that. But that's all his fault because if he was playing a lot better, I'm pretty sure that he would be starting more games. But yeah, considering that Tchouaméni isn't available, considering that Valverde needs to be in that right back position, I think the pivot has to be Camavinga and Luka Modric. As far as Rodrigo and Vinny are concerned, right, Rodrigo's form has dipped. Vinicius has been shit the second half of this season. Like, I don't know if him not winning that Ballon d'Or has affected him, but something's wrong with Vinny. But it's the UCL. It's the knockout stages. If there's one player that I have so much confidence in that will show up, it's Vinicius. Both of my wingers. Mbappe as well. Big game players. They know what to do in this competition. So I have all the confidence in the world that my attack will be on smoke. Let's just see how Arsenal's midfield and defense handle the pressure that we apply. But yeah, this is the predicted 11 that I do have for Real Madrid. Now, before we get on out of here, let's build a Madrid and Arsenal combined 11 based off of the players that are available for these two legs, right? Now, we're going to do a 4-3-3, right? Because I think that's where, it fits both of our squads. And this is going to be pretty interesting, right? I'm going to need you guys to get in the comment section and definitely let me know what you're saying about my combined 11 that I think makes the most sense. Now, in goal, you can either pick between David Raya or Thibaut Courtois. I don't really think it's much of a debate, right? Thibaut Courtois is clear of Raya. And I think Raya is a very good goalkeeper, but he's not chatting to Courtois. You know what I'm saying? Now, at right back, I'm not going to be shameless, right? I'm not going to put Valverde here because that's where he's going to start against Arsenal. We don't have a right back that I can make an argument for. It's Lucas Vazquez between Lucas Vazquez, Ben White, or Yurian Timber. Like, let's just be very honest. You know what I'm saying? And I think Arsenal's defense is stronger than ours, especially this season. So we're going to have to go with Timber at right back. Now, at right center back, I think Asensio, based off the form that he's on, definitely does have a case. But come on, right? I don't think that he's better than Saliba. So we got to put Saliba at right center back. Now, with Gabriel Magalhaes not being available, and look, he was Arsenal's best defender. I think Gabriel Magalhaes is arguably Arsenal's best player in general, because not only does he provide so much security in that defense, he's their best aerial threat. And we all know that we struggle from corners. We struggle from set pieces. And if Gabriel was available, this guy might have scored a hat trick on us simply from headers. You know what I'm saying? But he's not available. So even though his performances this season have been up and down, I'm going to have to go with Rudiger at left center back, right? Because I still think that he is one of the best defenders in the world, but we're just having a down season in general. Now at left back, it's between Fran Garcia or Miles Lewis-Skelly. Now, I think Fran Garcia is a good player. I like when he overlaps. I think he's dangerous in the final third. Great crosser of the ball. But I'm going to be very honest. I'd rather have Miles Lewis-Skelly. And I think that's who we're going to be going with at left back. So, look, it's predominantly an Arsenal back line, right? But I think Rudiger being there and then Courtois in goal is very fair. Now, at left center mid, I mean, let's just be very honest here. It's got to be Jude. I know that Declan Rice is a good player. I know that the Arsenal fans love him. He's not better than any of my midfielders. To be honest, I don't think any Arsenal player gets into my midfield. The only one that would have a strong case to be in this midfield, in this combined 11, is Thomas Partey. But is Thomas Partey better than Tchouaméni? I don't think so. So I'm going with Tchouaméni in the 6. All right, let's drop him a little bit. Let's bring up Jude. And then I think Valverde gets the other 8 over Martin Odegaard. I'm just being real, chat. Now, let's get into this front 3. On the left, we're talking about either Trossard, Martinelli, or Vinicius. I think it speaks for itself, right? Vinny. I mean, come on now. I know that he's having a down second half of the season, but he's still clear of those left wing options, right? Now, in the 9 has to be Mbappe. Arsenal don't have a 9. Mikel Merino is doing a good job of crashing the box and bagging a couple of goals, but the guy is a midfielder that's being played as a makeshift 9. Now, on the right, I have to go with Rodrigo. Look, I think Saka being back is a big boost for Arsenal. I think that Saka is a great player, but he's not better than Rodrigo. Let's just be very honest. So, for me, it's an all Real Madrid midfield and attack. I think where Arsenal are able to get in is in that defense. And if Gabriel Magalhaes was fit, he'd be back there. Because Rudiger, yeah, bro, like, this season's just not been all that. You know what I'm saying? And I also do think that since the Club World Cup, I'm sorry, not the Club World Cup, the real World Cup, right? Not the club, the international. I think Gabriel Magalhaes has been world class. He's been phenomenal. But again, Rudiger, there would have been a debate there, but I think I would have leaned more towards Gabriel just because of what we've been seeing recently. So this is my combined 11, right? We get 3 Arsenal players in there and 8 Real Madrid players. I don't think anybody's going to really complain about it, but I'm sure that some people will be in the comment section crying. But look, chat, big up to you, right? Make sure that everybody smashes that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You turn on those post notifications. Get in the comment section. I want to know what your score prediction is. I want to know what you think is going to happen in this first leg. And I need you to join the Discord. The link is pinned in the comment section. And you don't want to miss the watch along that we will be doing for this game. It's going to be insane. But look, big up the chat every single time. Holla Madrid!